Melanie with Painting Crafty, and tonight it's Tuesday Draw Along, and we're going to be working on our first little warm winter wishes or warm wishes, our first little winter draw along tonight. We're going to be walking you, I'm going to be walking you step by step of how to create this little watercolor drawing, and I'll be just using a regular old mechanical pencil, nothing fancy. The watercolor paper I'm going to be using is a Canson, and I don't have it next to me, a Canson watercolor paper, and it's 140 pound. It's still considered a student grade watercolor paper, but it works wonderful for these little tutorials of draw-alongs. It's very reasonably priced. I'm a firm believer in just spending just a tiny bit more money for your watercolor paper, and then just buy the watercolor that you can afford, is what my suggestion would be. So let's go ahead and start. Oh, and I cannot believe I didn't bring my watercolor. Hang on. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I didn't bring my watercolor over. I was going pretty fast to try to get everything set up tonight. And over in the studio, I was making pumpkin pies tonight because we got Thanksgiving coming up right around the corner. So I'm going to be using this little set of watercolor. It's a kind of just a very reasonably priced watercolor set. I ordered it off of Temu actually, but it's a great little set. It's got a little bit of some metallic colors here and some fluorescent, some bright colors in there too. Kind of a fun set. All right, let's go ahead and start drawing. So normally when I start drawing, let's move you to the other way too. So let's bring up a bigger picture like that. There we go. So now you can see a little bigger of what I'm drawing. And we'll go from there. Oh, hello. Say hello when you pop on. I'm really curious to see who's watching. I think we need to set this camera up just a tish bit higher tonight. Guess I wasn't quite ready tonight. Okay, that looks a little better. All right, let's start there. We are going to start with this little design right here on the outside. I can't remember if these are called a cloche. I think that's what it might be called. It's got this little glass container on the outside. So it's just a simple little U, upside down U shape here. And this just with a little knob on the top. So that's where we're going to start. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for coming on. Good to see you popping on. Let's go ahead and do this right here. All right, so we got this part here. So I'm going to take a look at my paper, and I'm going to want to make my U take up the majority of my paper down here on the sides especially. And I'm just going to come right on up. I got to leave room for my knob at the top. When I do this part, I like to do a little sketchy movement with my hand, so then that doesn't really lock me into exactly what I'm drawing, so I can kind of take a look at it, see what I've got going on. I'm just going to leave a little bit of space down here at the bottom, just a tiny one. Okay, I'm thinking that looks pretty good. I've got my little glass part there. Won't let me share for some reason. I'm sorry. You know, sometimes it's the oddest things. Let's go ahead and do this little top here. So it's kind of like a drawer knob is what it is. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do a little shape like this, a little neck shape. Comes like this. And then let's put that knob on top. So I'm going to come out, curve it around, and then come up and around. Now every time I do these always look slightly different. Okay, I think that looks good. Now the erasers I like to use and have on board is these high polymer erasers. You can just buy a set of these anytime. Oh no, oh no, they broke one of them. That would be sad. That would be so sad. Okay, so we have that part right here, and I like to use that eraser. You can buy these at Walmart, any place they sell erasers, but this is a nice little one. It won't leave any marks on your paper when you erase, so that's why I like to do it. I'm a little heavy-handed, so I always appreciate having a little bit more of a way to be able to erase a little bit harder line. Now let's go ahead and build our bottom part here. So this is just a little banner at the bottom. So if you look, it's just going to come across. This is going to set where I can write my words, just kind of a simple little design. I did bow it just a little bit to make it look like it was kind of going around a little ways. And then let's put our little hills in of where we're going to put our trees. So we have a background hill. That's going to be where our tallest tree is. And then there's another little hill right here, which is where we're going to put our house, and that middle-sized tree here. And then there's just a little tiny hill here that's underneath our snowman. So he's going to be in the forefront, then middle, and then background. So let's go ahead and start with our background. So it's going to be about right here. We're going to curve it down right like that. And then let's pop in the hill for where our house lives. So we're going to come here. This is going to come about right here, off to the side here. This is where our other pine tree is going to be. And then let's put a little bit of a hill here for where that little snowman's going to sit. So you should have 3 little hills of snow where that's where it's going to be. Hello, Facebook user. If you see where StreamYard might ask you to give permission to show your name, and then I'll be able to see your name if you would like me to do that. Otherwise, just pop your name in there and I'll know who I'm talking to. All right, so let's go ahead and pop in our very first big pine tree. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of a triangle shape here. And then I'm just going to swoop out, come in a little ways, and then come back out. So I'm going to come out. I have no idea what kind of tree this is, but we're going to come out this way and then just copy what you just did on the other side of the tree. Just a simple little easy pine tree. There we go. Now let's go ahead and pop our other one in over here. Now this one's done slightly different. It's got a little bit more of a design element to it. I'm going to start with my pine or my cone shape right here. We're going to build it in. It's going to be coming that. Okay, so then this has got some ruffles that are built onto that things. Hello, Jeannie. Thanks for popping on. Let's do a ruffle, a ruffle, a ruffle, like that. And then pop down and then do some more. Whatever might fit in there. Sometimes I get one more in if it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes it just ends up being 5. And then down at the bottom, this is where it's going to be touching. I'm going to make these a little bigger as they come down. And that's all there is to this little simple stylized little tree. Now let's go ahead and pop our house in. So it's got a little bit of a stylized roof too. It's got just this little bit of a swoop, a little bit of a curl off to the side. So I'm going to start, it's going to be, let's see, I think I'm going to have to move my hill down here just a little bit more because I want my house to sit there. So let's go down this way. Okay, now we're ready. So let's start with the roof line. So we're going to come up and make a triangle shape like that. Then we're going to come off to the side here and do just a little bit of a curl. So it's kind of a chalet look. Now we're going to come and we're going to come off to the side here. Then this is going to be an angle. I'm going to follow this shape here that I drew here. I'm going to draw it the same way back here. That's going to make it look like my roof is going back. So I'm going to copy the same direction as I did this one. And then I'm going to come straight, going to connect my 2 lines. There we go. Now let's pop our little house in. So here's my back. Going to be on that part. I'm going to do, looks like I'm going to have to switch my snow hill yet again because I want that snow hill to be kind of on the side of my house. Let's run it there. Okay, we're going to finally get it. We're going to finally get it. There we go. And I'm going to come off to here. So this is going to make it look like their house is a little bit farther away there, has a special little roof line. Let's pop in a door, and I just did a U-shaped door just to give it a little bit of character. And then a simple little window here up above with an X like that. Then I made some, whatever might fit in your house, you could add those windows as well. I did put a little doorknob too. And then I put 3 little windows that were going back. You can add as much detail as you want. And of course, this is going to have a little chimney, so we're going to come up and down like that. You could put a little bit of smoke coming up in the back area. I just kind of freehand some design on my roof, and I did it at an angle so it looks like it's going back, and then I just came right in the top. You're not going to see a lot of this. I didn't do any pen and ink on this picture tonight. All I mostly just used was my pencil, so I just was able to put a few lines in there. Hello, Joni. Thanks for popping on. Well, hello, Gloria. Gloria's here too. Thanks, ladies, for coming on in. So we have that going on here. Now we have to put our little friendly snowman in. So I'm going to start with his head, right like that. Then that next little ball is going to be bigger. He's just a simple little guy because he's inside of there. And I'm going to come just across his forehead with a hat. I'm going to come up. You're going to make him as cute as you want him to be. I did give him some buttons down the front. I gave him some simple little twig hands, like so, like that. You just got to make sure that he is going to be sitting down in some snow. So you might have to erase your line here. Maybe this one's going behind him, and then there's a small little roll of hill right there in front of him. And then he's just gonna have two little eyes. And I just gave him kind of a stick little nose. Not a whole lot of detail in there because he's pretty small. He's pretty small. Now I did run up the side of the cloche a tree that was just without any, just a few branches. So I just came down and kind of in this area here, swooped it in, then came out with a little branch, give it a few more sticks coming up. So it's nothing too fancy, like some fingers. Then I'm gonna come back here and then I'm gonna do my U shape, right like that. And then come up to my tree and give it some more fingers. So it gives it a look like the tree's got a little bit of a U right in there, divided off. Now on this bottom, you can come up and then back down. And then you got a little tree that's living right there. Happy little tree. We know who says that, don't we? Bob Ross, right? All right, now this is when you could get as decorative as you want. I ended up putting some streamers up there. I just thought they looked pretty. You don't have to do this, but I thought it looked great. So I'm just gonna come across like it's hooked onto my tree maybe, and it's gonna swoop up to the side here, like so. It looks great if they can cross over each other some way, somehow. So maybe that one comes all the way over. And I hung some stars from the top, and I just put some stars in there. Let's see, maybe I'll put one here. These are just all freehand, wonkier the better, I think, always. I put a few little flags on my little banner. Some had like a W shape and some were just the simple little ones. Let's see, I'll put a little one there. Maybe I'll do a little one here. And then you can add some ones. I added in just some bead ones that come down like that, and added another bead one over here. So you can get as fancy as you want to. Just add what you want to in your picture. All right, to top off this little cloche, oh, you do an adorable job. But thank you so much, Debbie. Thanks for popping on in. I'm going to go ahead and do this little line up here, a little bit of a ribbon. So I'm going to come across at an angle, so like a gentle smile, and then another gentle smile. I put a little knot right here, and then I did my two bows, gave it an inside like that, kind of come up. And then you just make your bows where the little ribbons, wherever it might make sense. So this one's coming this direction. I did have one that came up and took up some of this area here. But again, whatever might make sense. Then let's put in some lettering down here. I think I spelled everything right tonight. I'm hoping so. For this one, this is kind of a fun little font, and I think I'll practice more words with this one for the winter time. I liked how it was just a gentle little script writing, so it came with a little curve up. Like I say often that this is the time of the year that I will always have a notebook right beside where I watch TV, and then I practice my fonts or writing, because this style of writing is very much a drawing skill. So it's just something you have to practice, and then your hand will figure out a rhythm of how you like to do lettering. There's lots of examples on Pinterest. Is a great go-to for me for practicing letters. And then I'll come up. There we go. Now, if you want to, you can throw some snowflakes in there and to add a little bit of interest that way. So you can add a little bit of snowflakes there. Now, I'm not going to do any pen and ink work tonight, or I'm not going to be putting any ink in. So I'm going to go directly to my watercolor. So when you're using watercolor, you definitely want to have a watercolor card. If you're just new, whatever your set might be, you want to do a little watercolor that shows a card that shows you what your colors look like when they're on paper, because they look so different in here than they do over here. So that will be very helpful. If you're right-handed, put everything off to the right-hand side of you. If you're left, put it off to the left. And then that will stop the possibility, or help anyway, from getting water spots on your painting. And that will, because if you get water spots, that will lift some of the color that you may not want to have lifted. All right, let's go ahead and start. Now I'm going to start in the very background because I'm going to be doing some snowflakes with some glitter gel pens at the end. Let's see, I'm going to start with a pink. So I'm just going to choose a little bit of this pink color here. I think that's what I got going here. But I'm also going to add a little bit, let's see, I'll turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to add some pink I'm looking to be about tea consistency, but I'm also going to add a little bit of peach color into it too. So I'm going to warm it just up just a tiny bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink in there, some peach. I should have maybe used this one. Oh, I could still use that. I can always change my mind. Let's change it out. That might help you see the color better. With that shiny metal, sometimes it's hard to see. So let's do it again. I've been doing a lot of this pink and orange and turquoise color combination, so I already have it set up. I might as well use it. Move that on there so it doesn't rock and continue to make noise. Okay, and add a little bit of peach. Okay, now I'm going to start my background. So when I do my backgrounds, I usually start at one area and then move my way across. So I'm going to start over here and then move my way across. And I mixed it to about tea consistency. I'm going to try to keep it out of my glass area if I can, because I'm going to switch that color to be slightly different in the background there. And that's just going to help it separate it out. Like this is the background, and then it looks different in the glass. Okay, I'm going to do that part, but I wanted to do this part first so I had plenty of time to dry and so I could use my gel pens on there. Okay, cute. Now you can let that dry. I usually try to leave, if you can leave a little bit of white in there, it's always a good idea to have a little bit of white if you can. Sometimes I get carried away on these small drawings and before you know it, I have everything covered up. A little paper towel that I like to keep in my hand so I can dab it off to check my color and then also control the water a little bit. And then I'm just going to start with another turquoise color here. That's going to be the bottom part. It's a little light blue color. This works, it's a great color for snow, and I'm going to put that a little bit on my snow hills now. So I'm going to come right in here and add just a little bit of color. Not everywhere. I still want some of that bright white to show through because it is snow, so I don't want it all to be super blue. Come right in there. All right, and I'm going to mix a little bit of a turquoise color. So this time I'm going to add more of a turquoise color, and that I'm going to put on the very bottom. This is going to be right here, right over the top of that. I'm going to do that lettering in a gel pen with a little bit of glitter in it. So that will look great. Now this color here, I'm also going to be doing my little trees on those backgrounds. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that on there. Hi Mary, thanks for coming on. I'm going to add some of this up here. Now when I do my little paintings, I like to have some of the color go throughout my painting. So that's why I chose this green here. I'm going to be adding some white pen on top of that just to add a little bit more definition to my tree. And I'm going to come over here and do the same thing on this one. You can leave a little bit of the white showing through too. Okay, cute as can be. Now I made my house a little pink house, so I'm going to take that pink color that I used in my background and I'm going to be putting that on my little house. And here we go. We're going to come in here. I'm going to try to go around my windows if I can. I'm going to make those orange is what I'm going to do, like give a little glow inside so it looks like somebody's in there. So I'm going to just do a little bit of this pink. I'm going to let that dry before I work on the doors. And I'm going to work on the, I don't want to do the doors and stuff. I want to wait to give that a chance to dry. Now this little snowman, I'm going to mix my color pretty light. And then I'm just going to pop just a tiny bit of gray into him. I don't want him to get too dirty, but I'll just give him a little bit of oomph. I'm going to make his hat black. Now you could do that with a pen. You could come in and add just a little bit of black on there with the pen. If you get too much in there, just rinse your brush off quickly with clean water, have it on there, take most of it off, and then come in and tap your color and you can pick it up. That's called a thirsty brush, and you can pick a little bit of color up. Okay, cute. Let's add another layer of that green onto my pine trees in the background there. Okay, here we go. Let's tap it on my paper towel first. And then let's pop in a little bit more just to darken it up. Not everywhere, just here and there. Okay, cute. All right, so as we're waiting for everything to dry, let's go ahead and add some brown onto my tree. So I'm going to That's a big, I don't have a very good set of browns in this one. That's the only thing about this set I don't care for, is that the browns are not great. I don't care for the browns in this set. Okay, let's see. One is a little bit too red. One's a little bit too yellow, orange. Now this one's got kind of a lot of red into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some green, the opposite color, and I'm going to put that in there. And that should tone down the red a little bit. And I can get a better brown. So that if you use an opposite color, that will tone down the color that you're trying to tone down. So since I wanted to tone down that red, I added some green in there, and now I got a little bit better brown. Thanks a lot, Sue. And then I'm just going to come in here and then now do, and I'm using my pretty big brush here tonight. I could have bumped down to my smaller one, but I just had it in my hand. But I'm going to come around. But if you've got a brush with a good little point on it, you can come in here and do a lot more detail than what you normally think you can. Okay, so on my background, I'm going to add another layer of pink. So I want to add just a little bit more depth to it. I could change up my pink color just a little bit. Okay, give this a tap. Let's add a little bit more interest. Now I don't want to add this color everywhere, just here and there. This one's a little bit darker than my first one I added on. You could add just add a plain of the same color that you put on first, just by adding another layer that will darken it. Okay, let that dry. See what I end up with. It's already coming to life. Cute. Darling, darling. Now let's pick up a little bit of orange. And I did the stars in this orange color. I might switch down to my smaller brush just because those are so small. Okay, so this is in number 6. These little brushes are great for doing watercolor in. The Velvet Touch Princeton series. They've got a nice little tip on the end. They will bounce right back. They stay a nice brush for quite a long time. I'm going to go ahead and pop in a little bit of bright orange. I'm just going to tap it in. There we go. This one here. I'm going to pop it in down this direction. Give it a chance to dry. And then for the other little banners, I just picked up the same colors that I was using in the other parts, and I just repeated the color. So I brought up some of the pink, and let's put another pink over here. And then the other one was that turquoisey color is what I ended up using. So let's add a little bit of that turquoise, bring that color around my picture. Now this is also the color that I did my ribbon in too, so let's lay that in. So whatever colors you're using for your painting, just consider dashing them around in different areas so they kind of go cohesively through your picture, so you're not so spotty, but it'll help it be a little bit more cohesive of what you're trying to accomplish. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of this blue, and I'm going to come right here in the front of where my door is and add a little bit darker spot so it looks like it's a little bit of a path. I'm going to tap that. I'm going to give it a blue door, maybe a turquoise door. Let's go ahead and make this a turquoise door. Now that color might want to travel down into the path, but that'll be okay because my colors are wet. Let's pick up a little bit of this orange and let's put that inside of the windows. We're going to put that here just to give it a glow that somebody lives there. Cute. All right, let's work a little bit on our roof. So I ended up taking some of this brown color that I mixed here, and I just put that on my roof. Now, whatever color you might have, I ended up putting a little bit of snow on it with a white pen. Whoops, that's a lot. Let's pick that up. I don't want it to be that sloppy. Okay, I'm going to take up a little bit of pink for my chimney. Now you might say, why is she making it a pink chimney? I'm going to come and just add a little bit of brown on there too. A little bit of pink, a little bit of brown. And while my roof is wet, I'm going to just pick up some of the colors, even though I don't like my browns. I'm going to pick them up. And while my roof is still wet, I'm going to tap in a few of my other colors that I do have. And let my color kind of sit and play. See, that's not a very attractive color, but that's what I got. And down. And this will be just a little varied, so it'll give that roof a little bit of interest. It'll darken it up so when I put my snow on there, it'll look cute. All right, let's go ahead and add that background color. So that background color, I don't want it to be pink, even though it's glass. I'm going to come around and I'm going to do a little bit more of my peach color that I have. And I have just a little bit of pink in there, but I want it to be peach, mostly peach. It's a little bit lighter than the pink. And this is what I'm going to put in here. So that's why I wanted to change up the color ever so slightly. So it's still got a little bit of look of being pink, but it's not pink. It's a little bit peach. I'm going to scoot this color kind of quickly through here because these colors are pretty tender. If I get too much time in there, they would rub off. So I just need to scoot close. I change the direction of my brush so I'm not going all the same way, and just I'm layering it quickly, going fast, not spending a lot of time in there. Okay, that looks cute. Darling, 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 darling. Okay, let's add a little bit more turquoise to that bottom one. Let's add that next layer down there. So it always looks a little better with just another layer of color. So let's come in and add just another. Now I said I was going to be going over some of these things with gel pens to bring out the color. Cute, right? Cute, cute, cute. Let's add just a tiny bit of definition to the smoke coming out of the roof here. It's looking a little dangerous. I should probably wait a little bit till that all dries. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. Let's do some of my gel pens. I might have to dry this a tiny bit. Let's give this a dry. Now normally if I'm doing this and I'm not rushing, I just let this take its time and dry a little bit without rushing it too much. But since I want to show you what it looks like done, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little quick dry here. Now your paper is going to ripple when you do this. There's just no getting around it, but you can always turn it over and heat it up again, and that should settle it down. So here you can see it's starting to warp. So I'm just going to turn it over, hit the back side, and then that will make it lay flat again. Okay, let's get those gel pens going. Now I don't have any pastel gel pens, but I have some that might work just fine. I have this pink and I have this blue is what I kind of use, and I used a silver one too. Gel pens with a little bit of glitter add so much fun to your little projects. So I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to add a little bit of silver right to my lines. And that's just going to bring them to light. I don't know if it's going to show up for you on there, but you could probably see how that darkened it up. So instead of using a regular pen, I'm going to come and do that. Now let's go ahead and trace over my letters, darken those up with my gel pen, adding a little color as well. Cute. Okay, let's add a little bit of silver detail down here. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a ribbon detail, I guess is what you might call it, little bumps, just to add a little bit more interest to this. Scallop, that's the word I'm looking for, a little bit of a scalloped edge. And then let's come down here and go up this way with my scallops. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Now I did take the silver and I did go around my cloche with this to add a little bit more detail. And this little silver line looks really pretty with these little gel markers. Now if you don't have these little gel markers, you could always just use a regular, like if you have the Uniball pen to add some white, always looks good. I'm going to take this white one now. This is my Uniball pen. And I'm going to come right here and add a little bit of snow at the top of my roof. I'm going to add just a little bit of white here. I'm going to come on my trees now and I'm going to add some white scribbles on here just to give some more interest to these trees and bring that texture out. I finally found a new one of these pens. I found one stashed away. So it's like, yay, there was one more. Didn't have to go out and buy one quite yet. Okay, so you can see how that lightened it up. It also gave it some texture. And then I'm going to come in here and follow those little lines where I was doing it before of my scallops. and creating my detail. Cute. Now I'm going to come in and do a few polka dots. I forgot about that. Let's do a few polka dots here. I'm going to get this pen to work again. Just when I was bragging about how my pen was starting to work. Now it's not working. Okay, I guess we're not using that one. Let's see. No, not going to work. All right, let's go ahead and create a few little snowflakes. So for the snowflake pattern, I'm going to come down across this way, and then I'm going to make an X like that. And I'm going to just do little forks at the top, little V's, like so. Now you can make them a little fancy, or you can come and make little loops in between those areas. You could come up and make a little loop, which makes your snowflake just a tiny bit more fancy than just doing a plain one. You could just do a simple one that you do a half circle, and then you do one in the middle, one off to the sides like that, and there's your little fork, like it's behind there, like you're not necessarily seeing everything, and add it on there. And then let's come over here and add another one over here. Let's do that same one we did here, where we got one in the middle and it forks that way. Just kind of a cute little snowflake. And then I used my pink one and I added some pink ones in. And you could do partials on this one too, so you could come up here, do that little down and off to the side. Then you can do the fancy little design where you would see a loop, a loop, a loop, a loop, and come back. It's a fancy little snowflake, just like that. And then let's do another pink one on this side over here. So let's come over here. Let's do another one of those half circles. Come up and create another little one like that. Now I did use my white pen before, but I can't get it to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some little tiny, oops, that's the wrong color. I'm going to use the silver one, and I'm just going to come in and do some little simple snowflakes that fill in some spaces up here and add that little detail to it. Cute as can be. Right? Now let's come down here and add a little silver spots here, just to add a little bit more interest. Okay, and I'm going to take my pencil. I'm going to come back to my pencil. This has had plenty of time to dry now. I'm going to come in with my pencil and I'm going to add some more detail, line work, just some scribble scrabbles to my tree. Add a few more little fingers coming off like that. I'm going to come in, if you need to strengthen up your lines in your windows, this is a good time to add that too. Add some more, a little bit more character there. I'm going to come in and make it just a tiny bit darker, like there's a little bit of a pathway. I'm just using my pencil. Now I do need to give him a little bit of an orange nose, and I think I can do that with my gel pen. I'm going to come in and give him just a little bit of a carrot nose, just a little simple line actually. And I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to darken up his eyes a little bit. And if you wanted to give him brightly colored buttons, you most certainly could, but I think he's really cute. There's a little bit of a close-up of what we got going on. Super, super cute. Now, if you are interested in coming over and taking a look at my sketchbook membership, here is the sketchbook membership. And with that, let's change it around here. With that, you can just come over. It's very reasonably priced. Whoops, sorry. It's very reasonably priced. And if you would like to receive or get to have like the tracers, that's where all my tracers are, is inside of there. And I will send you out all the tracers from any of the pictures that I draw. There's gremlins in here. Any of the pictures I draw on my Facebook Lives or YouTube, they'll be over there. And I go ahead and I send those out to everyone. And every once in a while, I send a little bit of extra something in there too. Well, that is it for now. I'll be back tomorrow for those who watch me on Facebook. Kendra and I will be going live tomorrow. And we are going to be doing our yearly family-friendly draw along for our turkeys. We've been doing that for, I don't know, probably the last 3 years. Every year we do a family-friendly draw along that we do turkeys for. So we're going to be jumping on live tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So if you would like to support us, come on over and see what we're doing on Facebook tomorrow. And then Thursday, it's Thanksgiving. So everyone, if I don't see you tomorrow, you have a lovely Thanksgiving, and thanks for being here with me. Bye now. Thanks a lot, Vicki. You're welcome. You have a blessed Thanksgiving as well.